Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call and welcome to Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. My name is Jared Moon. With me is Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
How's it going?
And Casey Schutte. How's it going, man?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, super pumped to be talking to you today, Garage Gym Athlete. So I want to get to know, and I'm sure a lot of people listening want to get to know who you are. So if you could kind of give us intros, who you are, what you do, how you train.
Obviously, my name's Casey Schutte. As far as what I do, I'm a medical device sales rep. So I work with hospitals, mainly do a lot of things with liver disease, liver cancer. So I'm in the hospital a lot, see a lot of different things. I train currently out of my garage, although that's going to be, with the cold weather coming in Indiana, it's time to start moving things into the basement. So
nice.
And 40 years old now, and trying to keep on this garage gym stuff.
That's awesome, man. So I like how you migrate from colder to warmer as the seasons progress. That's a first I've heard, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's eventually I'd like to not migrate and just have setups in both the basement and garage. But right now, yeah, the stall mats and the squat rack and everything will move to the basement. But usually it's around October. It's been a little warmer here, so we're a little late. And then come spring break, I take we've got some time off with the kids, and I employ them, and everything comes back up to the garage, and away we go.
That's awesome. That'll be a chore they remember for the rest of their lives if it's something you do every year. Like, I hated it when my dad had made me move his entire gym from garage to basement every year.
Okay, you're 4 years old. You can carry the 10-pound plate. You're 13. You might be able to get the 45 up the stairs. We're gonna give it a go. Have at it. So there we go.
My kids still can't do much in the way of. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I try to give them tasks all the time, and then I realized that was way too complicated or way too heavy most of the time. Just carry this. Yeah, and they're like, I can't do that. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, a few years.
Yeah, mine are pretty good actually. My oldest just turned 13, and then I've got 4: 13, 9, 7, and 5.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Hence, I'm a garage gym athlete. I got to keep up.
Yeah, right. All right, so you're in the cold. I love how you, like I said, you go south for the winter into the basement with your training. But what do you have? What are we moving from the garage to the basement? What's your equipment setup like? So
flooring wise, I have 12 or 13 of those nice heavy 6x4 stall mats, a 20-pound wall ball. I actually need more weight. I broke one of your rules, and I lift more than I have. Then I have just a smattering of dumbbells, and SML2 Rogue squat rack. In the garage, I actually we don't have a finished garage, but I put up some plywood for a place to do some handstand push-ups and wall ball shots. I have enough height in the garage to do that. Jump ropes, some of the basic smattering, ab mat, things like that. Not much. So pretty basic.
It sounds like you got everything you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's enough for now.
And so how long have you been doing the garage gym thing?
I just started January, February. I can't remember when you and I had the initial. So it's not been, we'll be up on a year here in a few months.
Awesome. And what were you doing before before Garage Gym?
I was programming on my own. I do have a strength and conditioning background. I was a strength coach at Indiana University briefly in another lifetime. And prior to that, I went to a CrossFit box here in town that I love. It's a great box, great people. I actually truly do miss it, and may go back just a couple days a week just because of the people. They were great. But that's kind of what I was doing some training on my own. Prior to that, prior to all that, back in 2012, I was about 270 pounds, and then found CrossFit and started some paleo stuff and dropped down to 175 at one point. Not there anymore.
That's incredible though, man. It means you know how to put in some work.
Yeah, I can when travel doesn't take me out too long.
Yes, and it sounds like there's quite a bit of traveling for your work. How do you work around that?
I'll do some road workouts, some basic stuff. It depends on what's available at the hotels I'm at, and even sometimes what country I'm in. So, where I'm at, we'll modify and do some things and try to get some runs in. Even if you have just basic dumbbells, I can generally get something in of some sort. So, but some of these hotels now have really great gyms, and some are a little sparse. So it depends on what city and what state and what country I'm in, it seems like.
Yeah, man. And so why you loved the CrossFit box, great community there, it sounds like, and a lot of experience in programming for yourself. Why did you decide to start a garage gym and start training at home alone?
Two-part reason. One, travel. I had a hard time justifying the cost of a box. It was, pretty expensive. I kind of thought to myself, as much as I'm gone, I need to have my own home set up. And two was the kids. My oldest was wanting to start doing some training. So I thought, it kind of kills two birds with one stone. I can train when I want. I can, and I can help him out. And three, what we had talked about, I am really good at programming for other people. I really stink at programming for myself. and it became painfully obvious. And so I started looking around, and I found you and found your program and found it intriguing and wanted to give it a roll. And here we are. So that's kind of what got it all started was, being able to work out when I wanted and not put that money into the gym and out the door sort of, and help my own family out and give them a space. But programming wise, I needed help. I can program for my son. I can program for my wife. I can program for his buddies. But when it came to me, I found myself getting into a rut of, wow, I really like doing power cleans. Well, next thing I know, I'm power cleaning 4 times a week instead of mixing it up all the time. So that's kind of where I ended up. I had to swallow my ego.
I think that's like the coach's curse, man. I know you're not the only one at all. I mean, I talk to other high-level coaches all the time, and they're great at telling other people, like, hey, stick to the program, do this, do that. But when it comes to, like, their own stuff, they're like, they get the program hopping mentality time to time. They program things that are, like, in their wheelhouse more often than not and stuff. I mean, that's just that's common. It's common stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it's good that you're aware of it, though. We've talked to some other garage gym athletes who've had this similar thing, and I think being aware of that fact is good before it goes on for too long,
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you like training in your garage? You've been doing it for about a year?
Yeah, I did a little bit prior to this as supplement to the CrossFit stuff that I was doing. I enjoy it. I do miss, like I said, I miss some of the camaraderie just because I built some really good friendships at the box. I do miss that. And that's one thing I appreciate about the Garage Gym Athlete is the community. Even though it's social media based, it does help having others out there, pulling through the struggle, going through the meet yourself Saturdays and things like that, and saying, oh wow, I got destroyed on this one, or this one really went well. And but I do admit this year has been a struggle. I've been bitten by injury bugs over and over and over again, and it's nothing new that came because of programming. It was stuff that I had experienced years ago. Part of it was I had become somewhat deconditioned, and that was my own fault. And now all of a sudden I was pushing it a little harder and doing some things. And some of it is I got to swallow my ego and realize I'm not even 30 anymore. I'm 40, pushing 41. I'm not going to be able to do some of the things that I used to do, at least not right away. So I tried to push maybe a little bit further than usual. And I've paid the price a few times.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do. I think it takes a long time to learn how to swallow your ego in training. Especially, I think the more experience you have, the harder it is. Because you know, especially if you've, like you said, if you got deconditioned, you're like, what it's like to move that heavier weight quickly, or you know what it's like. So, and to be honest, you might have a little bit of the muscle memory and stuff to still be able to do it, but you weren't like really trained and prepared for it. So, yeah, I see that coming.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's
Yeah, that's actually how I hurt my shoulder a while back, like a year or so ago, because I had a job that took up a whole lot of my time before that, and I wasn't training as much, training as hard, and I went into the gym, and there was a bunch of muscle ups, so I did a whole bunch of muscle ups because I'd always done it, and then, just form was off. I didn't have the strength for a few months because I didn't think and realize, I haven't been keeping up with my training, so I probably don't have the foundation to do all these things. So it's really easy to get caught up in, how you are for 2 years, but then you really have to like assess yourself. And that's, it's definitely some growing.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of my injuries, it doesn't make sense. I have a consistent calf injury. So I don't have a rower. I don't have a Airdyne or anything like that. So for me, the cardio is running, and I got bit, actually on the EO3 5K. It just last round, and it came up and bit me. And next thing I know, I can't run for a couple months, fearful that it was some sort of compartment syndrome. Doesn't seem like it was that. And it's just now, that bit me in July, and I'm just now at a point where I can really start opening it up again. And but I dealt with this years ago, and it just reared its ugly head. It's one of those things.
Yeah, man, I think that's a tough spot to be in. But what's the plan for kind of moving forward here from here? Like, are you taking things have you learned to take things a little bit easier? Are you able to swallow the ego a little bit more? Or are you still struggling with it?
I still struggle with it. I still struggle with it quite a bit. I think I was an athlete in college, and I still struggle with, man, I used to move this no problem, bench pressing 225 for reps. I used to kill this all day long, and squatting over 400 pounds, that was nothing. Now I walk in there and I really want to load up as much as I can. I can't. And I also got to realize, all right, maybe I shouldn't try to go out as hard on this run, and things like that, and be cognizant and really back off. So right now, I'm on the strength track. I'm just really working this winter to build up some strength, and then come spring, whatever comes out, after this 12 weeks or and such, then I'm hoping I'll be back in condition and really be able to open it up and really start hitting some of my goals of cutting back on the weight again, losing some things around my waist that have suddenly reappeared over the past month that I'm realizing now.
Yeah. So, I think, going back to what you were talking about with, hitting strength training before you move into maybe something a little more aggressive, I think that's a really good plan, because it normally is coupled with that athlete mentality, like I'm going to come back full force, plus doing everything under the sun. Because in our other programming tracks, we do a lot of different stuff, right? Like we have a lot of stuff going on, and so that can definitely light things up. But I think building that solid strength base, because you can't really lie to yourself there, you know? Like, like maybe
No.
you could have moved the weight at one point in time in your life, but, if you're, like, coming back to it, you're like, weight is weight, It doesn't lie to you. It's like, hey, the deadlift, you're picking me up or you're not, There's it's either happening or it's not. So I think that's a really smart approach to just get some of that strength back, man, and then hit it after the fact.
Oh, I appreciate it. And that's kind of the goal, is just, hopefully get just to a point that I feel comfortable again. And, I'm still trying to get some cardio going again. Actually considering, finances don't allow it right now. So I'm lucky enough that I do get a little bit of a stipend for a gym membership, and there's a small place up the road. So I'm going to maybe start going there, just get on the treadmill, get on the step or whatever, and start building a little bit of cardio there and incorporate what you're programming as I can. Because again, when there's, a couple feet of snow on the ground, running outside is not that advantageous.
Yeah, even if you can go do it, I just, to be honest, I don't have a ton of experience running in the snow. I've never lived in that cold of climates for very long, but it just seems that even if you got out and did it and you were layered up, you just wouldn't be moving that fast. You couldn't move as fast as you normally could because it's freaking snow. Like, I don't know. It seems like you'd be moving so much slower. I'm sure it'd be a good workout. It'd be more like an airdyne
glutes
workout.
And lower back.
As opposed to a run, but.
Yeah, it's more the safety thing from my end, and I know other people may have different experiences. And usually the snow is not as bad; it's the ice.
Oh yeah.
Where I'm at, especially with the way the weather is now, we get a lot of ice a lot of times, and it's just, from a safety factor, it just doesn't make sense to go out there and risk, hitting a patch, and next thing you know, you're down, and who knows what injury you have now. So I prefer not to risk it.
Yeah, slipping on ice sounds like it would be an ass pain. No pun intended.
It hurts. It hurts. It's not fun.
Done it. All right, man. What's the hardest workout you've ever done?
Hardest workout I've ever done, and the funny thing about this was, it wasn't so much the workout; it was the environment. But it was the Hot Shots 19.
Okay. I think I've done that or heard it before. The firefighters?
Yeah, it was for the firefighters that got caught in the fires out in Arizona. And the workout itself wasn't that bad, and I forgot to write it down here, but you can look it up. But I remember specifically, some friends of mine were firefighters. They brought the truck out, and it was about 100 degrees outside in the middle of July here with, crazy humidity. Then they brought the fire truck out and were spraying us with water. So as we went out on our run, you would hit that water, and it was like you had the wind knocked out of you. And then on top of that, your shoes felt like they were in concrete, and then at the end of that workout, I've done Murph a number of times. I actually enjoy doing Murph a little bit, as nuts as I feel about saying that. But to me, that single day, that workout, just because of the heat and then hitting that cold water from those crazy firefighters, and it just, that day, I got done with that day and I was hurting. That was probably the most I've been hurting after a workout in a long time. That and anything that has thrusters in it. Anything. I don't care what it is. If it has dumbbell thrusters, I just want to turn around and walk away.
That's why you can't program for yourself.
100 thrusters and burpees will be the ultimate full body attack.
Well, that's basically Kazoo.
Yeah. Which is like the hardest workout ever.
I have issues with thrusters. I don't know why. I love to front squat. I love to press, but when I combine those into a thruster, especially dumbbell thrusters, there's something with me where I cannot keep them on my shoulders. They fall to the front, and it feels like an Arnold press every time, and I'm roasted. And it's more of a mental thing, because I get so frustrated that I just can't get it. So anything with thrusters, hate it.
Thrusters are the worst, man. I don't think you're alone on that one at all. Like, I don't know if
Yeah.
I could think of a worse exercise. Really, especially heavy thrusters. That's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate them.
I mean, in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
I've listened to a lot of your podcasts, and there's so many things that people have said. And this is one that I've just tried to start doing with myself and with actually my oldest, is just truly being truthful with yourself every single day, looking in the mirror and being 100% honest with yourself about whatever it is. Did I give everything I had today to make today better? Is this, things are things truly as bad as they seem, or are they truly as good as they seem? Not to sound pessimistic, but just be 100% honest with yourself. Because I think a lot of times, I've dealt with it, athletes I've trained, I've dealt with myself, is we kind of kid ourselves into, I'm not doing as good as I think. But then if you really be honest, what? I actually did do really well at this. And sometimes you're saying, oh, I'm killing it. Well, no, you're not really killing it near as well as you think you are. So if you can truly, take time each day, just give it a shot, give it 30 days. And we kind of did this with my oldest, and he took a step back. He loves to play baseball, and he had to take a step back. He's like, yeah, I'm not being truthful with myself about how hard I'm working, about this, that, the other. And it was kind of eye-opening for him. And I've done it with my own self, with my career, and with my family. Am I truly being the best dad I can be? No, you know what? I should shut off the laptop, put the phone away, and I need to be out here doing this. I'm not doing that enough. And I think we all could, learn a little bit more about ourselves, and that if we just truly be, honest with ourselves and look ourselves in the mirror each day, take 30 seconds and ask yourself a couple questions and be 100% truthful about it.
Dude, I love that answer. That's something I think that we could all do. I know, and I love how you pushed it both ways, though. You said, maybe catching yourself and being like, yeah, I could be trying a little bit harder here. But then you also could learn that if you are a little bit more of a pessimistic person, you might even be able to find that things are maybe a little bit better than you seem in some cases too. Yeah. So I love how that goes both ways, and because it is easy too, especially if you get into that mindset. I know someone who thinks about worst case scenarios and always trying to improve and stuff. I almost overly do that sometimes. Like, yeah, you're not as good as you could be here or there, but like some things that you are good at, you need to celebrate those too. And
absolutely.
That's why I love that you mentioned both of them, because I think that's really important. All right, man. If you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Barbell. I know that's a common answer, but it just so universal. You can do so much stuff with it. To me, it's and I love Olympic lifting. I love powerlifting type stuff. So for me, it's a barbell.
Great. And then I'm going to open it up to Joe with his genie question, is what I call it.
Uh-oh.
Not always.
This wasn't on the list.
This is not a scheduled question.
I did it from the beginning and just on my own. So if you could, we'll go with the genie. So if you had a genie's lamp and you rubbed it, and he asked you if you could add one piece of equipment to your garage gym, basement gym, whatever gym you have, what would it be?
An erg rower. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
110%. And my wife will kill me for saying that, because she was I always say erg. She was a rower here at IU. And so whenever I say a rower, she's like, no, I'm a rower. That's an erg. And she hates them. But that'd be the first thing I got immediately. If I could go out tomorrow and buy one, I'd be in my basement tomorrow.
That's awesome. Dude, how many times I've been corrected on that? I went to some athlete camps and stuff where they had an actual Olympic Olympian rower there.
Yep.
And every time I kept doing it, and she would correct me every time. I'd be like, "Yeah, we'll hop on the rower." She's like, "Are you hopping on me?" I'm like, "No." What?
Yeah.
And I was like really thrown off the first time she asked me that, and she's like, "I'm the rower. That's the erg." And I was like, "Oh, gotcha."
Why is it an erg? Does anybody know?
That's the
ergometer.
Yeah, that's the machine. That's what the machine's called.
Yep.
All right, man. The question of the show: what is the best advice you have for garage gym athletes?
It's advice that I had to give myself is actually it's two-part. Two things. One, don't be afraid to swallow your ego. Sometimes you have to swallow your ego. You do. Because if you don't, you can do some of the things that I've done and get yourself hurt, trying to lift weight that you think you can lift that, no, maybe not so much. And again, it comes back to being honest with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. And sometimes you got to swallow that ego, and that's probably going to help you make progress. And I know Joe, I don't know, he can chime in on this. I've seen things, and I know I don't have the best form, but I always stress lifting and doing things with as good a form as you possibly can, because it does help you from a safety standpoint in terms of putting you in the right position, helping keep you safe, helping keep you from injury. And I think if you swallow your ego a little bit, your form will be better, and you'll improve faster. That's two things that I believe in wholeheartedly.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if you take the front squat, that's easy to get the barbell out of position in that lift. And if you just work on getting it that 1 inch back farther, or your elbows up higher, then all of a sudden your muscles are going to work correctly, and then you're going to be moving a whole bunch of more weight.
Yep. Yeah. It's just, I love all of our garage athletes, and I always worry that, the way things are is just, again, swallowing that ego and just making sure are you getting that butt wink on the bottom of your squat? Are you really getting your head through on an overhead press and getting that shoulders at your ears kind of thing, and making sure you're externally rotating and where your knees are. You don't want to overanalyze it, but at the same time, be very cognizant. Videotape yourself, take a look at those things, and really take care of yourself so that you don't have gaps in training because threw your back out because on the front squat you were an inch out. Bar got a little front too far to the front, and you were rolling over, and you were really fighting it and strained your back. So to me, that's two things: swallow that ego and really, really try to strive to have good form and be as safe as possible.
And I think that's great advice, man. Just a personal background on me. I've actually gone through that twice, and it's extremely painful. So when I transitioned from more bodybuilding and powerlifting style, I kind of went bodybuilding, then powerlifting, just because it's an easy transition, then to more functional training. My form wasn't the best in lifting, and so it took a significant amount and a long time, like probably in all honesty, like between 1 and 2 years for me to finally swallow my ego, lift less weight, but with better form. I finally did that, and things got a lot better. And then it happened to me a second time once I kind of started doing more metabolic conditioning, more CrossFit style workouts. Is I was plenty strong, but I was doing the workouts and I was getting faster and faster and faster. But then I could tell my form was starting to break down. I was like, okay, my lower back's hurting after this Metcon. That should not ever really be the case. You shouldn't, if your knee is in pain during it, like you're doing something wrong, that means you're sacrificing form somewhere. And so I had to do that again. And so what I had to do was back off all of my benchmark Metcon times got worse, like every single one, because I started using less weight. I stopped doing prescribed. As someone who could, pull a triple bodyweight deadlift, still was not doing prescribed weight in Metcons until I could do Metcons pain-free. I kind of made that rule with myself. And that, again, this was not like, oh, Jared woke up one day and made this change. That was another 1 to 2 year painful process of swallowing my ego, making mistakes and getting through it. But just to kind of give it a really great example, I've experienced exactly what you said. I think that's a tremendous advice, and I really hope everyone listening understands how impactful that is, what he just said. All right, man.
Yep.
Casey, it's been great talking with you, man. A blast having you on the show. I really appreciate your time. Thanks, man.
No, thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it. It was good fun.